Yo, I'm back. We shooting big guns today, man. Big guns only. I got a podcast on me with me.
Big guns.
Big chemo. We shooting big guns only today.
Gun safety. Afternoon. We're here talking stand your ground law in the state of Florida because this is the most confusing law. A lot of kids don't really know about this law, or they think they know how it works, but we want the professionals to tell you how it works because we don't want anyone catching felonies or going to prison because they had the wrong information.
All right, stand your ground. Stand your ground pretty much is about protecting yourself. This is basically saying you have a right to defend yourself from violent crimes. That doesn't mean something happened to me, I go home and go get my gun and go resolve it. That means if I'm in my place of business, somebody kicks in the door and has a gun, I have a right to defend myself. Believe it or not, even if I'm a felon. If I'm a felon and the person I'm with legally has a firearm, registered and all that, and a threat that emerges where if I don't act, I can lose my life or be seriously hurt, I have a right to get that gun and defend myself.
Okay.
But then I got to give it back and call the authorities and explain the situation. So stand your ground is pretty much saying, hey, you have a right to defend yourself. You don't have to run. But with that, I would put a disclaimer on there. Make sure you're making a decision to begin with. And if a conflict can be avoid it at all costs.
So what's the situation, let's say someone's they enter your home.
All right,
yeah, because that's a dicey situation.
All right,
let's say they retreat. You see what I'm saying?
So with a situation when a person enters your home, that is now becomes castle doctrine law. So the law states anyone that enters your home, whether it's forcibly or not, without your permission, you have the right to use deadly force.
Okay.
Right? So that law came in effect around 2008.
All right.
So pretty much your home is your castle.
All right.
Your car is your castle. So anyone that enters your car, your home without your permission, or whether it's forcibly, you have the right to use deadly force.
But you can't just shoot them because they enter your home, right? Is that you cannot?
You can. At that point,
you have to shoot a warning shot.
No, you don't have to. At that point, remember, you're in your home. You don't know what this person here to do. The person here that could cause harm to you, you don't know.
Okay.
So imagine you're laying in your bed, 2 o'clock in the morning, someone kicks your door in.
Yeah.
Right? You have the right to use deadly force because you don't know what they're there to do. They can break your window, climb through the window. You don't know what that person in your home to do. Your responsibility as a citizen is to protect yourself.
Okay.
Right?
All right, so what if the person retreats, you cannot shoot them, even if they enter?
If he retreats, then
there's no longer a threat.
No longer a threat. Let it call. Just call the cops and let them know what happened.
So to make a long story short, that was a great job by Teddy. Just look at it this way. Stand your ground means you're responding to a threat, not a potential threat, a threat that is present.
Okay.
Now, if from home somebody kicks in the door and uses force to enter the home, they're empty-handed, then they're empty-handed. I can't shoot somebody in the back in my home, but if somebody has a gun in their house and shooting and running from me, that's something totally different. Because the threat is the firearm that they're shooting at me, regardless if their back is turned or not. They're turning and shooting, so then I can shoot. Then I have the right to stand my ground and defend myself. I don't have to run and hide in the closet. But hopefully, you already have a home safety plan. A home safety plan is not something you read. It's basically, okay, if this happens, you get the gun, the wife, you go there, you get the guns, you call the police, your job is to occupy and gather and keep the kids together while I come and defend myself. For single mothers, you want to appoint your oldest or whatever child you feel is the most safest. You get them to round the kids up and go somewhere safe while mom gets out there and do what she has to do to protect the household.
So even in a situation like we talked earlier, if someone approaches you with a knife,
okay, that's a threat.
That's a threat.
All right,
but a knife and a gun,
put it this way,
kind of like not equal out.
No, they both hurt you. They both make you bleed.
Okay.
You have to look at it like this. Especially when anything that has to do with stand your ground, it's hard to take one scenario and apply it to everything. So you have to process every detail, no problem, no matter how minute or irrelevant it might seem, it really makes a difference on what you're going to do. Let me give you an example. Somebody comes in here with a knife. It says, Paul, I don't like your blue sweater. I'm going to get you. If I'm on the other side, if I see the knife, I'm getting my gun out. That don't mean I'm going to shoot them. If they start to charge or they take the space away from us, the closer they get to me, the more danger I'm in. So at that point, I will probably pull my gun out and challenge him. Challenge him not to, hey, what you're going to do, more so to, hey, in my mind I already drew a line. If this person passes that line, I might be easily accessible to be stabbed. So at that point, I'm standing my ground. Hey, get out of here! I don't want to shoot you. Run, or if I feel like I need to hold him there, hey, stay there. Get somebody to call the police to come clean up this matter.
So it's no potential procedure to, like, if someone's charging you,
if
like
you were
talking earlier?
All right, it's processing. If them charging me empty-handed is not the same as them charging me with a knife in there.
Okay.
Once I see the weapon and it is brandished, that's the imminent danger. That's the threat that can cut me, can make me bleed or hurt me really bad.
What we spoke about earlier.
I can jump in and say that having the firearm is a right, but it also comes with responsibilities. After you get a firearm, you start planting scenarios in your head and make you ask yourself if it's worth it. In this case, he have a knife. He's from the door and he's in the back. He have time to call somebody to intervene to stop it. Remember that the moment you rely on your firearms, because your mind is ready to and prepared to use deadly force. Deadly force has consequences.
Time equals distance, distance equals time.
So if you can avoid that scenario, nobody buys a gun to go outside and start shooting. So proud owners will say, I've been having this firearm for 10 years and I never have to use it. Okay, so that's something that you have to have in mind. And in case you have to be certain that there's a threat against you. In the knife case, having a weapon, even if it's a knife, I don't know how skilled that person is to use a knife. Maybe they're a ninja with a knife.
Go back to what I was saying.
I'm going to get ready to defend myself. But if he's with a pepper spray, I'm not gonna rely on my firearm to defend myself. I can, but it's not a threat.
It's not basically, it has to be a threat.
So you have to be aware of the threat. That's the key.
So how do you know what the threat is? You're not going to know that unless you process and evaluate the situation. So then there's different levels of threat. He can say, I have a gun, or this is somebody I know that keeps knives or keeps guns on them, but until the gun comes out, so I have the process thing. And believe it or not, having firearms to defend yourself is more about making good decisions. Because it's gun handling than it's shooting. But before all that is making a good decision. Should I do this? Do I need to do this? So if you have an ego, the gun makes you feel strong, makes your arms bigger, you don't need guns.
Like a lot of people.
Because you're going to make a bad decision. And the other thing about this is a lot of people get themselves hurt. When we get guns, we feel good. You can't think that you're the only one in the world that has a gun now. The other guy has a gun too. You never know who has a gun. So normally the gun ranges is a very safe, respectful place because nobody wants problems.
There's still
Nobody wants problems here, man.
So I got a question with you. Okay, if you don't have a gun permit, are there any laws that can protect you?
Yes, like you don't. All right, the stand your ground law is not for concealed weapon permit.
I'm just talking period. Like if
that is the stand ground still applies to you.
Okay, I got you.
See, the main difference between recently the law got changed. You don't need a concealed weapon permit.
Yeah, that's what I need to explain because that's very confusing. Because I be around a lot of young guys, and they think the law states that you can just carry an open.
No, there's
everyone thinks that.
What was your info? Or you So the way the law works,
but you got to jump in and show the guns, bro.
Okay. So the way the law works is as July 1st. In the state of Florida, you no longer need a permit to carry a concealed firearm. Now, but there's still laws that still takes effect, and this is why a lot of people are still getting in trouble. So, for example, if I have a permit I'm allowed to conceal carry anywhere I like in my vehicle, whether it's on me or whatever, with a permit. Now, without a permit, even with the new law takes effect, you still have to carry the way the law was before that law took effect. So what I mean by that is, Florida, let me say this, Florida no longer have a 3-step process rule. We don't have that. So you have to keep your firearm in the car, in the glove compartment, in the center console, in a snap holster, a container with a lid, right? That's even without a permit before the law kicked in. Now, that still applies to you even with the new law. So, in other words, now the way the law works is, I could drive, go get in my vehicle, go to a grocery store or whatever you're going to do, and you put your firearm in the safe, in the glove compartment, center console, like long as it's within those standards. You can pull up to Walmart, for example. As you get out exit your vehicle, you're allowed to grab your firearm and put it on you, concealed, and go to the shop. Now, when you get back to your vehicle, put your groceries in your car, your gun has to go back in the glove compartment or the center console, however you had it in the lid. Now, where it switches up is with a permit, I can have my gun on me all day. I don't have to follow those laws. Only thing I have to follow, as long as my gun is concealed, no one can see my firearm in my vehicle with a permit. So that's the way the new law works.
And I'm gonna jump there. There's a lot of misconception about open carry and constitutional carry. With this new law, you can conceal carry without a license, but again, it has to be concealed. That means that the firearm cannot be visibly seen by other person, okay? And you need to have a valid ID. So if you didn't renew your driver license and you have a firearm, you get pulled out, that's not a valid ID. It can still be you, your same name, your same birthday, but it's the fact that it's expired, it means that it's not a valid ID.
Okay. Let me also say something too. Regardless of what this new law may say, do not be that group of people that just heard you don't need a license no more. Now you're just going out and buying guns. Do your due diligence, do your research, take the class, get the safety steps, because there's a lot of people that are just skipping the steps and now they're missing out on key laws, key rules, everything that they need to know just so they can walk around with a gun. Make sure y'all having a gun ain't even half of the battle. And if you don't know all of the steps, and
You can come and ask.
if you don't know the steps, come and ask. Come and take the class. Taking the class, we've had a lot of people, wives, women, children, couples come in and be uncomfortable, not knowing what's going on with weapons and all that stuff, and they come in, they take the class. It's a sense of comfortability once you know all of this.
Now that we on this class stuff, what's the procedures of the class? How much does it cost? Is it a 2-3 day process? How does that work?
Now, what I will tell you, for Revere, you can come in any day of the week and take a class. You don't need an appointment. We have our RSOs here all the time from 10 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Last call to get the class done is what, 6:30? 6 p.m.
All right, with classes, pretty much there's instructors all over the place.
Okay.
You find who makes sense to you, who can relate.
Okay.
Nobody really takes it personal because it's more than enough to go around.
Okay.
The type of classes you can get the actual, you take something that puts you in a position to go apply for your concealed weapon permit. Or you can take like a standard firearm training, advanced shooting, like there's different variations. So whatever it is you want to work on, you want to get better at, or be educated on, there's a class for you that's being offered here.
Okay.
And that's the concealed. Concealed is more civilian type stuff. The G license course is also available. Just come in and ask for Paul, and they'll tell you what to do.
Okay.
Any other questions you have regarding
This question y'all might really, okay. When you purchase a firearm, what's the transactions from state to state? Is it allowed? Is it protected if you leave the state of Florida and enter the state of Georgia? How does that work?
Every state have their own firearm policies. If you have the Florida concealed license, there are some states that reciprocate that license. They will allow you to conceal carry over there as if you were here. That's important because, for example, I'm not sure if Texas is one that reciprocate.
Yeah, the reciprocity.
So they do open
Carry.
but you with your Florida concealed license, you will have to conceal carry because you will be carrying as if you were in Florida.
Okay, so you're allowed to.
You're not carrying as a Texas resident, you're carrying as a Florida resident.
But you won't get in trouble if you cross state lines.
Okay, this is one way to look at it, right?
Okay.
I'm in Florida, so I have a Florida gun and a Florida license.
Yeah.
And I want to go to Louisiana. Louisiana is going to, well, we look at reciprocity. Reciprocity is the relationship states have between each other if they accept your license or not. Louisiana, I think, does. You have to stay on top of that because it changes a lot. So Louisiana, the state of Louisiana is going to say, okay, Paul, I accept you as a Florida gun owner and I recognize your Florida license. But once you cross these state limits and you're in the state of Louisiana, you need to abide by my Louisiana rules.
Okay.
All that stand your ground stuff belongs in Florida.
Okay.
It's no longer relevant.
Okay, it's a different
in Louisiana.
Yeah.
So wherever you're at, wherever your feet at, you got to follow the land, the law of their land. Per se.
Gotcha.
So once you go to Georgia, they're gonna say, okay, you can bring. You can call it out of state. Okay, you can bring your. I recognize your concealed weapon. I recognize your Florida firearm and to be in legal understandings. But now you have to abide by my Georgia law. You're a Georgia guy. All that Florida stuff, everything Florida related stays on the Florida side of the state line.
And again, like he says, some things change very fast. You will have to be on top of that. There's states like California that doesn't allow you to have a firearm with over 10 round magazines. So in here you can buy an extend mag of 50 rounds.
Let's do it on you.
So
Like,
you need to be aware of where you're going and if you can bring your firearm with you to avoid issues.
All right, and one more question. We're talking a bulletproof vest. How does that work? Because we talked about it earlier, but can anyone get a vest? How does getting a bulletproof vest work?
ooh, that's a good one. From my knowledge, normally that's reserved for people who has a reason to have that. If you have a G license in the state of Florida, G license is considered a statewide firearm license that gives you the right to be armed while performing security duties. From a civilian standpoint, they have different things,
There's
but
different
there's
types.
levels to it.
So a
Once
G
you
license
get-
is like a cheat code then. If you can go anywhere in the state with that.
Yeah, but you're working with that.
Oh, that's the difference.
All right. In reality, there's two type of gun licenses civilians can obtain.
Okay.
The concealed is you minding your business, being the king at your house, making sure the wife, the kids, everybody's good. The G license is you putting on a uniform with your gun openly carrying most of the time, working for an entity, making money.
Okay. All right.
So both of those wonderful trainings are available here.
So like the bulletproof vest, like we were saying, is so what if you're a felon?
If you're a convicted felon, you cannot be in possession of a bulletproof vest.
So that's zero.
That's zero. If you're a
Zero.
convicted felon, zero.
All right, man. We here at Revere. Listen, if you in Pompano, if you in Lauderdale, if you in Coral Springs, I don't care where you at in Broward, you need to come here. They got some big stuff. Like, I mean big. Make your shoulders lean. So I had a good time here, man. I would hope and wish everyone would actually come here and see what this company is about. It's a dope company, man. I had a good time, great time. You want to add anything to that?
Yeah, man. Follow. So this is all daily. This is a lifestyle. It's okay to shoot guns. It's actually a sport. A lot of times we associate guns with crime, but guns are a sport, recreational sport. And as a responsible gun owner, at some point you're going to have a conflict. It just comes down to making good decisions. At the end of the day, if your life is in danger, it's not worth it. Let it go the other way, and live for another day, man. It's not about hurting people. It's about protecting our family, possessions, and home with a concealed weapon or a rifle or whatever the case may be. Appreciate y'all, man. Hey, we shoot little guns when we come back. Little guns next time. Little guns.
Y'all be safe, man.